We're not even a month into the NFL season, and big names are already out for the entire year. Now, I want to talk about some of the top waiver wire ads for going into week 4, and we're going to start things off with addressing the Mike Williams situation. As you can see here, Mike Williams has torn his ACL, and just like the Chargers, we as fantasy managers have to move on, adjust on the fly, and come up with solutions to fill this void. The first player I want to talk about is his teammate, Joshua Palmer. Now, as you can see here, he already has a pre-existing role in this offense, and in last season, during the times when Mike Williams and or Keenan Allen were absent, Palmer had a very improved usage in this offense, producing at flex level numbers, if not sometimes top end wide receiver production. So Joshua Palmer is my preferred target in this receiving core to fill in for Williams. Quentin Johnston, on the other hand, has not seen as much utilization so far in his rookie campaign. However, I could see that role growing as the season progresses. He has a more similar build to Mike Williams, 6'4", 215, 6'4", 218. So if they intend to use Johnston as a Mike Williams replacement, like I alluded to in my wide receiver rankings video during the preseason, that may come to fruition later in the year. But I think initially your biggest return on investment will be Josh Palmer, given his usage historically, as well as what we've already seen from him this year. Now, just in case you're unable to pick up a Chargers pass catcher to replace Mike Williams, DJ Chark may be an enticing option in deeper leagues. He saw 11 targets in this past week's game, only 4 catches, which shows a lack of efficiency, but that's more to do with Andy Dalton than DJ Chark. 86 yards, half of those yards roughly came off of one reception, which did include that touchdown. So you take that play away, and the numbers are a lot less inspiring. But the number I want to focus on here, obviously, is the double-digit targets. Now, his teammate in Jonathan Mingo is in the concussion protocol. There may be an opportunity here for Chark to step into a bigger role, as we saw here. Similarly, teammate Adam Thielen is producing somewhat of a career revitalization here over the past 2 weeks, catching touchdowns as we know he was capable of doing back in Minnesota, but also seeing double-digit targets and even double-digit catches in week 3. So all this to say, it is important to note Andy Dalton threw the ball 58 times, which is 20 more times than we've seen from Bryce Young so far in his rookie season. But all that to say, DJ Chark may be an option for you to consider in deeper leagues based on this utilization. Moving on to the tight end position, I want to talk about Luke Musgrave, who's a player I wasn't very high on in my Who to Flex video from last Friday. That being said, all of the metrics are moving in the right direction. Targets, catches, yardage is staying about the same, but regardless, Musgrave is making plays for this offense. Now, albeit without Christian Watson involved yet, we have to see how that's going to affect this offense moving forward once he is available and healthy. But if you're in a pinch, Musgrave may not be a bad option given the matchup for Detroit in week 4. When it comes to tight ends moving into week 4, I think you can sense a trend here. It's rookie tight ends that I wasn't too high on going into week 3, but just like Musgrave, the numbers are moving in the right direction. 7 targets in 2 of his 3 games as a pro, the most catches we've seen, and the most yards we've seen by far for his rookie season so far. So, again, similar to Musgrave, this situation is dependent on the Cowboys being in a competitive game. New England does have a pretty good defense despite what we saw against Miami in week 2. But with that being said, I think Jake Ferguson is a player who's trending in the right direction, and you should scoop him up sooner rather than later if you're weak at tight end. And of course, you'd know it wouldn't be a week 4 waiver wire video if I didn't talk about Devon Achane. 51.3 fantasy points in PPR scoring is absolutely insane. He rushed for over 200 yards, caught 2 touchdowns, rushed for another 2. The guy went absolutely off against Denver, as well as his teammate Raheem Mostert. Now, the thing that I want to talk about here, obviously, this is fantastic efficiency on 41% of the snaps. once we get the inclusion of Jeff Wilson, and Raheem Mostert's not going away, 51% of the snaps in week 3, but once Jeff Wilson returns, there's a very good possibility that Mike McDaniel is going to utilize a running back by committee still. And so Devon Achane is a valuable add for now, but you just can't expect this efficiency. If you already rostered Devon Achane, I would highly recommend selling high. I think that this number right here, 51.3, is going to be way too enticing for someone to pass up on. If you're going out of your way to pick him up off the waiver wire, I think clearly lower expectations, as this is unprecedented, much like how Miami performed last week. But even still, he is worth considering as a top priority add if you need a running back. That's going to wrap things up for me on week 4 Who to Waiver. Hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck getting these guys on your team.